and I sort of like, heck, I've had a bourbon every night for probably 10 nights in a row, and I sort of had to stop and go, is this a problem? Am I just enjoying a bourbon, or is it I can't enjoy my evening without having a bourbon?
Becomes
Like
a habit.
I just started to think, like I just sort of had to stop and go, oh, it's like, is this a thing? Yeah.
So that's good that you identified
I was
that.
going to say that.
So
that you can catch yourself.
Yeah. So that's like when I go back to the painkiller thing that I bring up, right? This is a big thing for me, because that recognizing what I went through and what I was going through during that whole situation is what kind of planted the seed for me to start this whole podcast and start these conversations. So that's why I'll probably tie back to that quite a lot throughout the podcast. But I was injured. I ruptured my pec February 2020. And then I was taking tramadols, taking whatever, because I had to. I was in a lot of pain. I was having bloody post-traumatic, like waking up in the night having nightmares. This shit was so painful that it actually scarred me mentally. And I was taking painkillers because I had to get to sleep. Otherwise, I'm tossing and turning and it was too sore. But it wasn't until I sit there and think back and I look back at the whole situation. I was still taking painkillers August 3rd when my boy was born, and that's 6 months onwards.
Yeah.
But that entire 6 months, I didn't look at that and be like, hold on, there's a problem here. It just became normal. And as it became normal, I had to take more and more for it to be anything. But it wasn't until that situation. And then after I identified, I was like, I took 3 tramadols at 12 o'clock at night. Then he went into, Arohali went into labour at 3 o'clock in the morning. So 3 hours afterwards.
Yeah.
And so I had to function and get my son, delivered and be present for that situation. For 6 weeks premature he came, so I wasn't expecting it. But when I look back at that, and I didn't sleep for 3 days after saying I'm not going to use that anymore, because I was using them to go to sleep because it just became normal. And then, it's only recently that I kind of look back at that entire situation. I'm like, okay, so I started off by taking a couple tramadols, or one tramadol, and then it became a couple, then it became a few, and then it became every night, and then it became for 6 months. And then when I couldn't take them, I was staying up for 3 days straight. And now I identify that as, well, that's what addiction is.
Yeah,
that's addiction.
That's addiction, but I didn't realize at the time. So that's why I say, it's really cool that you can go 10 days in. Yeah. Okay, this is what this is. This is what I probably need to do. This is what you've identified.
Yeah. Should I maybe have a water every night before bed rather than a bourbon?
I think Nathan's developed a lot of